You are not exhausted because you worked too much. You are exhausted because your attention never stayed in one place long enough to think. This is what happens when your workday is built from constant access, not actual work. You open your laptop at a normal hour. The cursor sits on a document you meant to finish yesterday. Before the first sentence forms, a message appears in the corner of your screen. You answer without thinking much about it. Then another notification replaces the silence you just had. The document stays open, but your attention does not. There is a quiet contradiction building here. You are working all day, but nothing feels fully entered. And somewhere in the background, you start assuming the problem is focus. You are not going to fix anything by trying harder at focus. You are going to see what is actually happening to it first. Start with the first moment of the day, where your attention stops being yours. Some workdays leave you completely exhausted before the real work even begins. The strange part is how little actual work happened. In the morning, you open a document, ready to focus. Then a notification pops up on your screen. A coworker stops by for a quick, urgent question. An unexpected meeting starts right after. And when you finally look at the clock, the day is over, and that document hasn't moved. Your brain just treated every single interruption as a massive context shift. You end up feeling drained, but without any sense of accomplishment. That's when a frustrating thought hits you. How am I this tired when I barely got anything done? Something doesn't add up. The truth is, you are not running out of effort, because what's draining you might not be the work itself. The exhaustion would be easier to accept if everyone felt it. But many people don't. Your coworkers jump between chats and meetings and appear completely energized. They keep up with the pace effortlessly. Meanwhile, you feel your energy slowing down with every passing hour. Naturally, they compare for mistake a mismatch in your environment for inadequacy in yourself. That's when a frustrating question hits you. Why does this seem easier for everyone else? So you blame yourself. The comparison starts before the diagnosis. But the real problem may be hiding somewhere else. Most people track their hours. Very few track what had access to their attention. The resource disappearing all day is not time, it is attention. It starts with an email notification, a brief message, a calendar alert, or just a quick check-in. Small interruptions stacked together. Attention gets fragmented long before productivity drops. You spend the day reacting to everything instead of thinking deeply. Because of this, you stay busy all day, but can't name what you actually accomplished. Time wasn't the first thing you lost. Your calendar shows activity, but your mind remembers interruption. And interruption does something most people underestimate. The interruption lasted 30 seconds. Its effect lasted much longer. The damage from interruption continues after the interruption ends. You return to the document. You read the same paragraph again, and you try to remember what you were thinking. Attention residue keeps part of your working memory attached to the previous task. You lose depth, not just minutes. That's when you wonder, where was I? The switch never fully happened. You did not return to the same mind that left, and that changes everything for certain kinds of thinkers. For years, you may have been asking the wrong question. Not, why can't I focus, but something else. The truth is, you may not have a focus problem. You may have an access problem. Look at an entire morning filled with interruptions. There is no uninterrupted stretch longer than 20 minutes. Deep cognition requires absolute continuity. As a result, focus never survives long enough to become useful. You never got the chance. Most days, focus dies before it can become work, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. Collaboration is treated like a universal good. Reality is messier. Many workplace systems assume that constant collaboration improves thinking. They design open offices, endless brainstorm sessions, and demand continuous availability. However, groups often optimize for agreement rather than true exploration. As a result, original thoughts are edited and edited before they are fully formed. That's when you realize, maybe silence was helping more than I noticed. Not every mind improves in public. Visibility and thinking are not the same activity, which explains why solitude feels different. Notice when your best thinking happens. The pattern is usually not random. Solitude is not an escape. It is cognitive recovery. Think of an early morning, an empty room, no notifications, and just one problem to solve. Reduced stimulation frees up your valuable mental resources. Without it, your cognitive load keeps accumulating day after day. That's when a sense of relief hits you. This is the first time my brain feels quiet. Nothing was pulling at you. Silence was never the absence of productivity. But many people spend years ignoring that signal. The cost is not exhaustion. The cost is unrealized work. For years, you may have been adapting to conditions that erase your strengths, forcing participation, staying available, performing responsiveness. The environment rewards accessibility more than depth. As a result, your strongest cognitive mode rarely appears. That's when you wonder, what if I've been optimizing for the wrong thing? That is a different loss. You kept training adaptation while losing depth. And that leads to the final realization. The goal was never isolation. The goal was depth. Some minds create their highest value through uninterrupted depth. One person, one problem, enough time to stay with it. Sustained attention compounds insight. Meanwhile, constant access prevents that process. That's when you realize, so that's what I've been protecting. Depth needs protection. The environment was shaping the result long before effort entered the picture. And that is exactly why you need to change your approach today. The problem was never how much you could focus. It was how often your focus was allowed to exist before something replaced it. Work did not fail you. Your attention was never left alone long enough to become work. This is for people who think most clearly in uninterrupted space, not because they avoid people, but because their thinking collapses under constant access. People who notice their best ideas never arrive in meetings. They arrive when nothing is asking for anything back. Depth does not appear under access. It appears when nothing interrupts its formation. Look at your last normal workday. Find the longest moment your attention stayed in one place without being touched. Not your busiest moment, your most uninterrupted one. That gap is the real story. If this changed how you see your workday, stay with the next one. It will continue from the same place. Some days were not unproductive. They were just never allowed to fully begin.